This conference will now be recorded.
So in today's class, we are going to start it with our programming. So programming, so the programming, it's a tool that has been provided by SAP, which is helps to create our own, which will helps to write our own ABAP logic and helps to create our own application, which will helps to create your Rise of W components, or I can say this as our own applications. So Rise of W, so out of which except W, everything you will be just created with the help of your SE38. Remember that. Reports you have to do it with the help of your SE38. Interfaces you have to do it with the help of your SE38. Conversion program you have to do it with the help of your SE38. Not enhancements. So enhancements also we can wipe it off. And forms also you have to do it with the help of your SE38. It's a tool that has been provided by SAP to write the ABAP logic and to create reports, interfaces, conversions, and forms. Reports, interfaces, and conversion and forms, or I can say to create the custom applications. The custom applications. The custom applications. So which we will be using. A transaction code is SE38, which is nothing but your ABAP editor, which is nothing but your ABAP editor. So now when we open this ABAP editor, you will be seeing this screen. You will be opening when we open this. So when I log on to my system, okay, I guess, okay. When I go to SE38 and I open this, so this is how your screen will looks like. So here is a place where we will be going ahead and creating our programs, whatever the programs, what I told you, the RISEF. So reports you will be creating, interfaces you will be creating, the conversions you will be creating, and the forms you will be creating. Either if you go to the enhancements also, we will be working on the standard programs. So the same ABAP source code will be there over there too. Workflow, it's a different concept. RICE also can also be come up. RICEF. RICEF. So E stands for your enhancements, where you are going to work on your standard. Now, in this, here you have to provide your program name. And for every program, you will be having 5 sub objects. So one is your source code, the second one is your variant, the third one is your attributes, the fourth one is your documentation, and the fifth one is your text element. The fifth one is your text element. So coming to your source code, which is nothing but your ABAP editor, where we will be writing our entire ABAP logic, where we will be writing our entire ABAP logic. And coming to your variant, so for every program to run, we need a screen, which is nothing but an input screen. So to run a program, we need a screen and the inputs. What are the inputs we want? So to run the program, we need an input screen. Input screen where user can pass the values. User can pass the values. Now, I want to store the values. So if I want to store the input values, then we will be creating in the form of your variants. I'll be showing you that once we go ahead and design your selection screen, how can you create your variant? So that's called as your variant. So to store the default values of the selection screen, the input screen, what the in SAP terminology, the input screen, we will be calling it as your selection screen. And the next one is the attributes. So it will tell us what type of a program we are going to create. and what is the business application area, what is the package, who has been created, when has been created, the last change, etc, etc, etc. Everything it will be storing you. So I have given you the attributes over here. So you will be seeing that one once we go into our attributes in detail. Next, coming to the documentation, we can maintain the documentation of a program. What is the purpose of your program? What inputs you can provide? What's the expected output result? So like that, you can provide them the documentation. See, this will provide you the brief about the program. And coming to your text elements. So if you are providing any hard coding values, so that hard coding values, so we are going to replace with your text element. What is the main purpose of this text elements is to maintain the translations, So guys, this material I have created for earlier batches. So now we are going to use the same material again. Okay, so that I can reduce the writing of the details. Okay, so coming to this ABAP editor, so coming to your program name. So now for every programming, so as I told you, after Z, you can pass anything. It has to be started with either Z or it has to be started with Y. So now you can pass anything. So I can go ahead and say, just say, click on create. SAP will allow you to create. With the help of this, can we able to know what is the purpose of creating of this program? No, we can't able to identify. So we have to go into deep dive of the program, then only we can able to understand what is the purpose of creating the program, who is our functional and all the details. So to avoid that confusion, we have the naming conventions. As I told you, so for data element, domain and everything, what we have created the naming conventions. In the same way for program also we have a naming convention. The naming standards are Z. So the type of your object, the application area / business area, or we can say this as module, and then the rise of ID following by the description. Coming to your type of your object, whether it can be a report or whether it can be interface or whether it can be a conversion or whether it can be a enhancement or whether it can be a form. And then the business areas are nothing but your modules. Now for, as I told you, for every object we will be having an ID. We'll be having a ID that will be gets created. So to which, so whatever we are writing the ABAP logic, so the rise of ID is used to track that objects. So we will be using that rise of ID to track the objects, and the description is nothing but your description of your program. Now, for example, I'm working on, or I have to work on a production planning report. So for tracking the monthly productions, so what are the productions that has been done on monthly, I have to track that. So the rise of ID is, let's take 10:30 a.m. So this is my rise of ID, 10:30 a.m. So now my program name is ZR. So report. So this is report. So I have given. Now production planning, which will comes under your PP, and then the rise of ID will be the 10:30 a.m. and then I'll go ahead and give my monthly description. Now, if you have gone out from the project, or if you have gone from the company, so the next person who is joining, he can understand, okay, this is a report of this rise of ID and this module. So he can know to whom we have to contact. He can know easily to whom we have to contact and to whom we have to contact, and we have to write our program. So we have to get the details of your program. It can be easily. So for every program name, you have to follow your naming conventions. Now, when we provide this program name, so let's say ZR, I'm going to say 10:30. So I'm going to say 10:30 a.m. and I'm going to say the first program. I'll just say click on create. The first and the foremost thing is it will open your attributes, the attributes. So in this attributes, the first one is your description of your program, which is nothing but your title. So what is the description? So I'm going to say this as the first program. And then we have to provide the type of your program. So in SAP, we do have multiple types of your programs: the executable program, the include program, the module pool program, the function pool program, the subroutine pool program, the interface pool program, so the class pool program, the type pool program. So type pool is nothing but your type groups. So the type pool is nothing but your type groups. So that's one more pending concept of your data dictionary, which we have to see. Okay, so like this. So out of which, if I want to see an output, so the output, if you want to see, so or I want an input screen as well as an output, so which is nothing but your executable program. So all your programs must be your executable. If I want an input screen or if I want an output to be seen, then you have to select that as your executable program. Include programs are the programs. These are sub-programs, like for example, reusable piece of code. If there is a reusable piece of code, so that I want to use it at multiple programs, then we are going to use that as your include programs. Next, module pool programming. It's a special type of program where you have to provide your screen as well as your ABAP logic. So that's called as your module pool. The function group. So we will be working only with your executable program, include program, and your module pool program. Other than that, we won't be working any other types of program in our real time. Now, the next one is coming to your application. So it will tell us for which module you are going to create, but we will be keeping this as blank in real time because the module name we are going to provide at your program. And next, the authorization group. If you have an authorization group, you can assign that so that whoever is authorized, so that person can able to execute this program and it can able to see the output. And the next one is the fixed point, the fixed the fixed point automatic and Unicode checks active. So these are the checks that will be performed by SAP on your code. So you should never ever remove this. You should ever remove this. And editor log. What is meant by editor log? When you select this editor log, you have only the option to change the code. You have only the option. The developer who has created the program has an option to change the code. Can we put this editor log in real time? No, we should not keep the editor log. Maybe you can go on a vacation, or maybe you can transfer the program to some other person because of some emergency issues. So if you are an experienced person and there is a issue where the other persons can't able to solve, now your work will be given to your subordinates and you will be working on that priority issue. Now, when you select this editor log, the subordinates can't able to change your program. So they can be able to change with the help of your username only. We should never ever select this editor log. So on this, on this attribute screen, you just need to provide your title and you just need to provide your what is the type of your program. That's it. Don't do anything. Now, once you click on save, it will be asking your package as well as it will be asking you your TR. Now, once you provided that, you will be entering into a screen. So this is called as your ABAP editor screen. ABAP editor screen. For the very first time, when you open it, you might be seeing a text-based editor. So like this. So this is the old editor, which is used in early 2000s, before I started my career. People use this old editor. After SAP ECC version 6, after SAP ECC version 6.0 onwards, SAP has came up with a new editor, which is nothing but your source code based editor. Source code based editor. So this is your text editor. So we have to change that from your text editor to your source code based editor. To do this, go to your utilities, go to your settings and change that to source code based editor. Source code based editor and click on enter. Now you will be seeing your new editor. Now you will be seeing your new editor. New editor. So this is the first thing. Now, so see the ABAP logic where you have to write. And now sometimes when you open your ABAP program for the very first time, you might be seeing a different editor called as your text editor or old editor. So like this. So if you are seeing this editor, we need to change to your source code. How to change that? To convert that text editor to the source code editor, we need to click on utilities, settings and select the radio button to source code based editor, to source code based editor. Now, so now this is the source code based editor. This, let's see some of the shortcut commands. Shortcut commands which we are going to use. Now, to save the program, one second, yes. Okay. To save the program, first thing is to save. To save anything, we will be using, you know this, ctrl plus yes, control S. So now to check if there are any errors, so this is your check button to check. So to check what is the thing, so we will be having ctrl plus function F2 to activate the program. To activate, so we will be using ctrl plus F3, control F3 is the one. So now I have written that control S, control F2 and control F3, and to provide a comment. So comments are nothing but just to provide some information. So I want to provide some information to my ABAP. So let's say you're working on a complex logic where you have keep multiple conditions. So that has to be easily understood by the developer. So what you will be doing at the starting of that logic, you will be writing a comments. You will be writing a comments at the starting of your ABAP program. You will be writing a comments. So that comments, how can you put that? So a comment. So this is how you have to write your comments. So when you have started with the star or when you have started with double quotation. So now these comments will never get executed by your SAP. Comments how you have been written. So or else whatever you have seen on your gray color, those will never get executed. Those will never get executed. Those will never get executed. Okay, so that's called as your comment. So you can use with either your star or you can use with your double quotation. Now at the starting of your line, so at the starting of your line, if you want to provide a comment, you can use your star or you can use your double quotation. But after the line, so I have written something and after this I want to provide a comment, you have to use your double quotation only. You have to use your double quotation only. Okay, so this is what. After the line, if I want to provide a comment, then you have to use your double quotation. I have already mentioned that. So now to provide the comment, we have to use the symbol either star or your double quotation. Either star or your double quotation. Okay, when to use this star and when to use this. So star we can use at the starting of your line, whereas the double quotation you can use at the starting of your line or after the line, or even after the end of your line. Even after the line you want to use this. So if you want to provide a comment, if you want to comment a line, we can use control less than, and if you want to provide an uncomment of a line, then we will be using your control greater than. So control less than and control greater than. If I say this has your control less than, see here it has provided your comment. Uncommenting, uncommenting, comment, uncomment, comment, uncomment, comment, uncomment. Like just doing on your control space bar, control greater than and less than, control greater than and less than. I'm doing that. Okay. Now to toggle between the display and edit, so we have to use control F1. 1 second, guys. My system got down. So now if I go to SE38, let me open the program. Let me click on change. So now to toggle between, so this is your display to change button. So I'll just say control F1. See, it will go to your display mode. Control F1. It will be changing to a change mode. Control F1, display and change. So to toggle between your display and change, you have to use control F1. Now, in order to see the output, so this is your execute command. In order to see your output, this is your execute command, which is nothing but your F8. So to know the fields directly, so let's say, for example, this you will be coming to know. So to provide the hints in your ABAP code, we'll be using this control plus space bar. We'll be using this control plus space bar. So this you will be coming to know when we started with our ABAP coding. Now to go back, to go back, we will be using F3. So F3. So now if I say I want to go back, see here F3. If I say function F3, it is going back. Now F3 and then yeah, these are some of the major shortcuts which we'll be using in our ABAP program. And there is one more thing called as your pretty printer. So which is used to align the code. So if I return like this, now if I say pretty printer, see here it's aligning your code. So it's aligning. So it is coming to your starting. Sorry, not here, but the starting. So it will align your properly. So in order to do this alignment, we have to go ahead and do a settings. So this is mainly used to align the code in a proper way. To activate your pretty printer, we need to go to the following path. So for this pretty printer, it's shift plus F1. So if I go ahead and say I'll just do this and I'll just do this. If I say shift F1, it will align. Source text was formatted. But to make this pretty printer, you have to first of all activate your pretty printer settings. So for the very first time when the user has been created, maybe the pretty printer settings may be active or may not be active. You have to activate your pretty printer. To activate this, 1 second, guys. So I was telling you the pretty printer. So first of all, in order to do this alignment, we have to do your settings. We have to make the settings of your pretty printer. So how to do that? So go to your utilities, go to your settings, and here you will be having your pretty printer. So now in this indent, first of all, you have to select this indent. Indent is mainly used to align your code in a proper way. Indent is the one which is used to align your code in a proper way. And the next one is lowercase and uppercase. How the code has to be. Whether the entire code has to be in lowercase or whether the entire code has to be in uppercase, whether the keywords, so whatever the color which you are seeing in blue color has to be in uppercase and remaining thing has to be in lowercase, or whether the keywords has to be in lowercase. When I select this and when I say click on continue, now if I do my pretty printer, see here, this has been changed to lowercase and this has everything has to be changed in your uppercase. But in real time, we will be selecting the keyword lower uppercase. The keywords will be in uppercase and the remaining things will be in your lowercase. So you have to select the first thing is indent and the keyword to your uppercase. So this is what your pretty printer settings is all about. So this is mainly used to align. So utilities, settings, indent, this will use to align the code in a proper way, and uppercase and lowercase. So I have mentioned that. So lowercase, the entire code except the comments will be shown in your lowercase. The entire code except the comments will be shown in your uppercase. Keywords will be uppercase and non-keywords will be in your lowercase. Keywords will be in your case and non-keywords will be in your uppercase. So in real time, we will always select indent and keywords uppercase. These settings has to be enabled, have to be enabled whenever we change the project. Whenever we change your project, that means you're going to get a new system. So in that new system, again, you have to change your settings. How to do that? So this is what. So your app editor under this, the pretty printer, you have to select this. Okay. So this is what this is all about your pretty printer settings, and these are the shortcut commands that are available in SAP. Now, to display any data in SAP, to display any data in SAP, to display any data in SAP, we have a statement, we have a command, or we have a syntax called as write. We have a command called as write. Write is a command which is used to display any information. Any information. Write is a command which is used to display any information. Okay, remember that part. So now I'm going to, so I want to display, welcome to SAP ABAP. I want to display welcome to SAP ABAP. SAP ABAP programming. So I want to display this. So now simply we will be say write, and whatever the text you want to be gets displayed, it has to be on a single quotations. So single quotations at the last you have to put your full stop. Now I'll just say welcome to SAP ABAP programming. SAP ABAP programming. So this is what. Now I'll go ahead and activate this one. And once you activate, once I click on execute, you can see the output. Welcome to SAP ABAP programming. Welcome to SAP ABAP. Now, I want two words to be printed in a same line. So then I want to say timings. Timings are from 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. IST. 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. IST. So this is a second letter. This is my second. So to do this, So whenever you want to have multiple, you have to put semicolon. So you have to put colon. You have to put this colon, and if you have another word, put a comma separator and then say whatever the word you have. Timings. Timings are from 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. IST. 11:30 a.m. IST. So that's it. Once you have done this, now activate your code and now click on execute. Now you can see that. See here, timings are from 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. IST. Now, if I want to print that in a separate line, I don't want this over here. I want to print that in a separate line. So if I want to print this in a separate line, then you have to use right and backslash. You have to use right and backslash. Then this will be gets printed in a separate line. In a separate line. Usually, what we will do, we will also put your semicolon too. So whether it can be a single or whether it can be a multiple, we will always keep your semicolon, or sorry, we will always keep your colon. We will always keep your colon. Now when I say activate, now when I click on execute, see here timings are from 10:30 to 11:30. Now in real time, in real time, we will never keep any hard codings. Never keep any hard codings. So whatever the things which you have written, this is called as your hard coding. You should not maintain or you should not keep any hard codings in the program. The program. So these has to be replaced. The hard codings has to be replaced with either just give me 1 minute. So the hard codings has to be replaced either with the text elements or it has to be replaced with your constants. So I'll be telling you the constants at a later point of time. So now let's see what is your text elements. The text element. So hard codings are your text elements. So what is meant by this text elements? So these will replace the hard coding. 1 second, guys. Sorry for the case. So text element, these will replace the hard codings. So how to replace that? So to replace this, the syntax is you have to mention text hyphen. So starting with 000, and you need to provide 3-digit numeric number. 3-digit number you have to provide it. So now here I'm going to say text hyphen 001. So this I'm going to keep it in comment. Now copy this one, and now double click on this. Either you can double click on this or you can click on go to and just say text symbols and click on yes. Text symbols and click on yes. and you can paste this as 001, 001, and now activate this one. So activate this text and come back and activate your program too. Now if I say click on execute, see here, the same thing it will be gets displayed. The same thing it will be gets displayed. So this is what your text elements is. So you just need to provide your text hyphen 001. So now I just provided like this. I just provided like this. So every time I just need to go inside this text element and I have seen what has been written over here. I've seen what has been written. So instead of that, what we will be doing is we will be hard coding, we'll be providing the hard codings. At the last, we will just say as 001. So now this text element will be gets created. This text element will be gets created. Now if I say this as 002, let's say 002, and now double click on this, and now the text elements will be created, and just say activate this one and go back and activate this one too. So this is how you have to create this. And the main purpose of creating the text element is, so when we create the text element, we can use this for translations. We can use this for translations. That means we can maintain the same text in multiple languages. We can maintain that. So how can you do that? Click on go to and click on translation. So I'm going with the German language and just say click on continue. Now I'll just copy this. I'll go to my, I'll just say English to German. So now I'm going to paste my text over here. So this is the text which is maintained in German. So copy this and provide this in the form of over here. And then the text I'm going to provide it over here. And this is the text. So this is the text. So now, so once you have provided this, sorry, why it's not working? I don't know why it's not working. So I'll just copy it from here to here. Okay. So it's worked. So now let's take this one. Now if I say enter, and if I say enter, it will be changed to your blue color, sorry, yellow color. So now the translation has been maintained. Now save it. Now when I try to log in German, so now let me log on with your German. Here you have to provide it as DE, the login language as your German, and then I'll just go with my user ID and password. Now you have tried to log on in your German language. See here, this is your German language. Now if I go to SE38 and if I open my program and just say click on execute, see here, it has shown you in your German. So that's the main importance of creating your text element. So to maintain your translations, we can go ahead and create your text elements. So write the text to be displayed in your program. So I just provided this one. So multiple things. So multiple how you have to do it, I just provided. And then text elements. So I just provided the text elements in the form of this. How to maintain the translations. So from red to yellow, like this in your following screenshot, you can see here. So then once try to log in with that language and execute the program, you will be seeing the updated target language. Note in the class, I will be using the hard coding, but you guys have to practice. You guys are practicing. You have to use your text elements only. When you guys are practicing, you have to use your text elements only. I should never ever see any hard codings. Now, the next thing is your data declaration. So this we will be seeing in your tomorrow's session. So that's the end of today's session. Before I signing off for today's session, any other questions? So tomorrow the session will be at 10:30 only. So today, as I have an hard stop, so I have requested to join at 10 o'clock. Yeah, any other questions? As I told you, this Saturday and Sunday, you have your class. Okay. Yeah, I think there is no questions. Then we'll meet you tomorrow at the same time and we'll continue our session. Sorry, at 10:30 and we'll continue our session. Thank you. Thank you all.